Hey guys, I'm Mark, and this is the North Trail 25 RKSS. I was picked to do this because we had an argument, and this was my coach that I thought was the safest and easiest tow. So I didn't realize at the point when I was offering my opinion that I'd be drug out for this, but I'll tell you why. Hey Mike, come over here. I wanted to be smooth about it, but I couldn't remember everything, so I wrote it down because I figured it was more important for you to get the right information than for us to look like we're really good on camera. The first thing, and probably the most important, is I don't know if you saw from the other side. Go back, Mike, and show them the big slide. Typically, when you're talking about light trailers, you don't have a deep slide that's big and long. This is about 3.5 feet, and this is about 14 feet. You typically don't get that in a trailer. So this is one of the lightest trailers you can get per square footage, and I'm going to explain why they can do that. And I thought the best way to do it was to start from the very front. The first thing is, a lot of trailer manufacturers, all right, you never know if we should put this in.
No, it's fine.
But a lot of trailer manufacturers are horrible liars about their length, because everybody wants to tow a short one and live in a big one, and line works. So we've had, a lot of companies have had brands that'll have a model number called a 180 that actually it measures 23 feet 11 because people want to tow a short one and live in a big one. And it seems like the brands, the better brands that are the more honest brands, get hurt because they sell less because they're not looking at the same thing, because they're getting confused by people that are intentionally lying on the model numbers. So come over and look at this. Mike and I laid this out. This coach, tip to tip, the box is 23.3. This is the only one that we have, or actually anybody has really, where the box number is shorter than the model number. So don't get confused if you're looking at another brand. The odds are it's probably longer than this, but does not have as much square footage just because they fibbed on the length. And that's a hard one to overcome. It works. They do it all the time. So the easiest way we thought about doing this was just going from the ground up, and that way we wouldn't forget anything. And this is not whether you like this trailer, and I can show you quality stuff, but this point is just specifically that this is the best towing one. This is the safest one for your family. Starting out with the tires, these are load range D tires. I don't know if you can get it right here. Lots of times when you have a light rig, they're trying to get to a lower cost level. Now this isn't the least expensive, this is actually one of our nicest, but the reason that you can get light and quality is because they paid a little more money pretty much at every step. Most of our other ones, we don't want to get the names in there, but if you go over, they have load range C tires. They cannot carry as much weight. It means that if you put a lot of weight on them, the cheaper tire is more likely to blow. So this is a safer tire, you can load more things on it, and you can travel safely. Now when you come up, this is one of the biggest parts. What I like the best about it is this is the wide track suspension. If you come over here, you can see how much room you have, and it's pretty much common sense. If I bet you $1 I can push you over, you're not going to stand with your feet together, you're going to get wide. So this is going to have a lot wider, a lot more stable base, and it also might come back here. Let me get to this point. It's about 5 feet 10 to the back wheel. This has the shortest wheelbase of any coach I've ever seen with the bigger slide. It means there's less rocking back. It's so important to towing and driving. Motorhomes have to print what their wheelbase is. Nobody ever brings it up in trailers, but that wide track suspension does a lot for you. Now let's show them one of our other tires real quick. Okay, so this is another brand. We don't want to say which brand, but it's a load range C tire, and my pin can't even fit. So it's a cheaper set of, it's a more narrow axle. Now look at the back between the tire, look at the overhang. This coach is basically the same length, but it's got a lot larger overhang, which is much more likely to smack down in the back, and it also makes it a worse tow. But most times when people come in, they're not that concerned with safety. It's, you know, you kind of get inside and want what you want. My point is this is the safest one. We hope you like it, but if you want a safe one, this is. All right, now go to the wheels. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry if I keep referring to the list, but I didn't want to forget anything. Also, These are aluminum wheels. Now aluminum wheels cost more, but they dissipate the heat better, so they brake better. They weigh less, so they're not adding weight to their coach, and they also are more balanced than the steel wheels. So it's a lot safer tow. Costs a little bit more money, but you can see basically every point where they had a decision of what to do, they went with the higher grade. It's a good example. In every brand, most of these companies are pretty greedy and they want to sell you one of anything. Whatever, they want an A level, a B, a C, a D, and an E. So if anybody tells you their construction is as good as this, ask to see their motorhome brochure. The motorhome they carry, if it's over 100,000, will have the exact same construction as this trailer. And if you go to their highest line, it will have the same construction as this trailer. The other lights, when you're looking at a light somewhere else and you're trying to compete with its construction will be several levels below. And they'll have something they say, oh, this is a good way to do it. But if you go into their exact most expensive thing they have in their lot, it will be constructed like this. I would suggest that you grab a motorhome brochure before you walk out to a trailer and see what things you have in common and what you don't. I think it's the best point, because they can't say, hey, my nicest stuff it's this way, but this is a better way I do it in a 12 grand model. Now look up under here, Mike. This is enclosed and heated. I don't know if you can get enough up under enough to see it. It's nice, and it's good that it's a Four Seasons coach, but they found out the actual best benefit of it was when they did wind tunnel test, it reduced turbulence, so you're not shaking around. It's a nice option. If you get a trailer that doesn't have it, go at it. It probably only costs $1,000, but it'll make it a lot better tow. It kind of gives you a 2-for-1. Okay, now going up from the bottom, we've got the floor. The floor is a vacuum bonded floor. It means it's sandwiched together. They suck the air out. It's exactly how we do all our motorhomes. I actually brought this out. I don't know if you can zoom in on it. They're showing their floor. It's strong enough that you can drive a car up on it. It gives you weight where you're not too heavy, and it gives you strength, but it costs more to do that. So this floor is light, but it's more solid. Now the frame of the coach is aluminum, but there's a lot of companies that say they're aluminum, but they're actually not. This coach has 6 sides. The 2 side walls, the roof, the floor, and the front and the back. A lot of companies that say that they're aluminum coach are only a couple of studs in the sidewall. This is a true cage. This is exactly like the motorhomes, because not only is it lighter and stronger, but it's where your weight is. Because of this is a more expensive chassis, it's a little heavier chassis, but you make that weight back up because you spent more money on vacuum bonding, so you got light and strength up here. It's where the weight is. Not only does this have a wide track suspension, but there's a bigger percentage of weight beneath the floor in this brand than the other brands that have wood roofs. And this company has a lower level. In the lower level, they do the cheaper wood roof, but where your heaviest side of your 6 is up top. So it makes it a lot worse to tow. This is your best bet. This is 6-sided aluminum. All right, this is the most aerodynamic front we got. It goes back about 4.5 feet, and this is going to make it a lot easier to tow. It's going to be a lot less resistant in the wind, which sometimes is just as important as weight. Then when they've done wind tunnel tests, they say that front takes off the equivalent of about 400 to 500 pounds. The most important part of a coach, the actually most expensive part for the builder, is the chassis and the axles they choose to use. Come over and look at this, Mike. This coach has the nicest chassis and axles for a small one we have on the lot. It can carry 8,600 pounds. You can come over here. This is an opinion. This is a scoreboard. That's not what it weighs, but that's what it can carry. So it gives you 2,893 pounds of carrying capacity. Typically, light coaches are made cheap, and you don't get as much carrying capacity. Also, what that chassis does for you, that they spent more money on, allows you to have this big slide. It's about 3.5 feet wide, about 14 feet long, so you're getting more square footage. Nobody ever says how long their house is, it's how much square foot.